your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. And do not adjust your screens because tonight you have got the sexiest Talking Town contributor team alive tonight. We've got myself, the Fisherman, and King Kally Bisler. Doesn't come any better than us three, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm looking forward to discussing Ipswich Town with you. 3,000 miracles. Obviously, last night, a 0-0 win. Strange as that may be, but a 0-0 draw that turned into a win thanks to a penalty shootout. We'll be discussing that. I think the Fisherman is not particularly happy about the Cup, so he's got a lot to get off his chest. And then we'll look into other news and bits and pieces from around the world of Ipswich Town. We've got Idris El Mizani's contract extension. West Ham being naughty boys, giving us a Papa John's group win. I know, we've not just progressed in the competition for the first time since relegation, we've actually won a group. The Cookie's already brought success to the football club. Look, this is already the start of the snowball, start of the momentum, start of the avalanche, as Matt Phillips would say. So, before I get any further, I just want to make you all aware that we do have the Prediction League Week 15 in operation right now. Town Oxford, Stevenage Colchester, MK Downs Cambridge, and the last one might throw you all a little bit. San Marino versus England. So do think carefully about the last one particular. All right, we don't want anybody, being tripped up here. So that's the last fixture this week, as it is sadly international weekend. So you all can't get it right that Norwich are going to lose. Although last week they did trip everybody up by beating Brentford. Right, a few comments. What have we got? We've got Colin says 8-0 for England. Welcome in, Colin. Hope you're feeling better. Facebook user, good evening. Jordan, good evening. Lee Brown. Brandon, if you've not yet seen this man and Crunchers talking cricket, I suggest after this show, not during this show, obviously, because you'll miss the three of us and we're just brilliant. But after this show, jump back, have a look. They review the horrendous game that was England versus New Zealand in the T20 World Cup. Right. He is back he isn't back by popular demand. He's just back because there's nobody else that could do the show. He is loved by nobody but me. I love him very dearly. He is, of course, the one, the only. No. And you're happy tonight.
I'm always happy until I'm not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Off air, we'll peek behind the curtain for a little bit here, right? Me and Kally said, "Hello, mate. How are you?" You went, "Can't complain," and that pulled Kally up because even he went, "Hang on, whoa. What'd you say? Like you can't complain? We might as well pack up and go home. I only get one to complain." You're only here to complain, mate. You are.
No. You know what? There's some good things to talk about, and there's some not so good things to talk about, shall we say? But it's all about my opinions, and if it's about my opinions, and then obviously there's going to be other people that don't agree. But it's just opinions. I know. It's what it is, isn't it?
It is. I'm really pleased you're back, though. Jokes aside at the introduction. It's good to have you on the platform. Always bringing opinions that some perhaps aren't brave enough to say, but you are always brave enough to put yourself front and central to it. Let's start with the most important question. That San Marino game, Mike. What would you do? What would you tell the people at home in the Prediction League? Which way is that going to go? San Marino, England, San Marino. What's going to happen there?
I think I'll put 6-0.
6-0. What? San Marino?
Yeah. No, to England. To England. Look, we always seem to score 5 or 6 against these teams. We never put any more than that past, do we? it's a bit of a training game against these lower teams. And I've always said it. I don't understand what they're doing in the group stages with teams like England and Italy and France and all them teams. They really should have a league of their own, and then maybe the group winners of that come into our group. They're never gonna progress, are they?
No, and I'm with you. I don't know why they are. It's just an absolute irrelevant fixture. Talking of fixtures, though, I hear you may be going to one tomorrow night. Is that correct?
No. I was because of my job. Obviously, I've got 2 jobs. One, I work for myself. 2, I work for a local Chinese to sort of behind the counter and stuff. But they're down drivers at the moment because we've got one of our guys who's a main driver. He's up in Scotland at the moment doing security for the. He's
okay.
They had a bit of security. They had a bit of a security scare. This is a bit of a funny one. They had a bit of a security scare last week. One of the sensors went off, and it turned out to be a couple of swans at it having a fight.
Brilliant. Okay, well, on that, we'll just segue from the Swans going at it to tomorrow, Suffolk FA Under-18 Midweek Cup, Haverhill Rovers versus Ipswich Town FC tomorrow, 11th November, 7:15. Kick-off at the New Croft. Adults £3, concessions £2, children's under 16 go for £1. The Cruncher will be there, so if you love him or hate him, the Cruncher will be there. Pop along, watch a game of football. And listen to the Crunchers Onions all at the same time because you're not going to be there now, Mike. So he's on his own.
No, I'm pretty gutted. I was supposed to go. I was going to go last night to the Colchester game, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. But
before we get into that, let's bring in the third and final member of our team. He is, of course, the royalty among us all. He is, of course, King Kally Bisler.
Man, I'm gully and techie. You want me, then check me. Just butt me, I'm ready. I need that money in heavy. I'm banging these raps like Pumpy with Shelly. Shell it, bad it, I'm dipping. I said that I'd leave, but I'm back in the kitchen. She pour it, back it, I'm sipping. Feeling away, but she tackling feelings. Man, I'm gully and techie. You want me, then check me. Butt me, I'm ready. I need that money in heavy. Banging these raps like Pumpy with Shelly. Shell it, bad it, I'm dipping. Said that I'd leave, but I'm back in the kitchen. She pour it, back it, I'm sipping. Feeling away, but she tackling feelings. I hit it and scurring, gassed it. She calls it childish, I call it tactics. White doors on a coupe, but I wrapped it. Got a next one, remapped it, rapid.
I can't cut that song in half. It's too good. It's too good. King Kally,
welcome. I was vibing.
Yeah. So every time I listen to it, I vibe. It's a great little song. I've not heard it enough recently. You've not been on.
He's actually. I'm going to give him a little plug here. So Sar, who's the artist, Ipswich-based artist, done a lot with people like Brotherhood, who are also Ipswich-based artists as well. He's a barber by trade. He just opened his new barbers on Norwich Road called Odyssey Barbers. So if you need a fresh fade, fresh trim, Mike looks like he needs a trim. So head down to Odyssey Barbers and he'll sort you out, mate.
I'm looking for a new barber in the new year, so I'll be definitely checking that one out. Yeah, okay, brilliant. It's great. He's a great rapper, so he raps as well as he cuts hair as well.
Brilliant tune, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. So Colchester, Harry Butcher, Kally. Here we go. I love it when Kally is on because he is inside knowledge with the players. Wow, friends.
I know nothing. I'm not
nothing. Ben Moore, some good young talent on the show for both teams. We've got Brandon Cutter, no rice, no party. Mike needs a haircut. Brandon Cutter, world record label, sign this man. Yeah. You were on the show Sunday, but Sunday we revealed that, or we shared the news. What do you make of that then? Obviously, you're from your part of the country. What's going on?
I know Essex. So Essex is leading it. I know him quite well. He was the one. So people may not know this, but when I was younger, I used to do a lot of DJing and producing. He was the one that got me my first illegal copy of Pro Tools and Fruity Loops and Adobe and all that. But he was a good little young producer. Then he started doing like songs with like lots of American artists and stuff, and then some UK from Lil Wayne to Skepta. He's done it all. So I think it's good. There's a lot of talent around there. The problem with particularly the hip hop scene in UK hip hop, if you're not in London, it's very hard to get exposure. You've had a few people in Birmingham, a few in Manchester, but with Wolves now and tapping into the community and where the stadium is actually based, there's a lot of record studios and like recording studios and stuff around. So it's tapping into the local stuff. I think it's brilliant. So I knew it was coming about 6 months ago they'd mentioned that it was on the way, so it's good.
I'm going to do a bit of I think his name's Liam Neeson moment here. I'm going to say, if you can find it, there's some tracks out there of King Kally dropping a few bars.
Yes. Well, listen, I did one verse. I did one verse on a track. Right?
Hey,
the rest I was
one more verse
producing.
I've ever done. One more version I've ever done. So if you can find it, it's out there, ladies and gentlemen, of this man laying it all out there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic listen. Something I didn't particularly like was last night's dire 0-0 draw. At first, we thought the 0-0 and then resulting penalty shootout saw us go through as second place, but it turns out it didn't. West Ham have fielded an eligible player. We go through as group winners, with Colchester going through in second and West Ham finishing third. So, last night, how do we see the game? I know Mike wants to speak about last night and the cups in general, so I'll let you start with this, Mike. Mike, what's on your chest, my man?
Just a bit annoyed with lack of, I don't know. Saturday was lack of effort, wasn't it? We were some people said training game about Saturday, but that wasn't even good enough to be called a training game, was it? We should have turned over. That team turned over Wickham, They did. And they failed to really put Oldham to bed. So that was a little bit
lack of effort, though, Kally. What do you think of that? Obviously, we know.
So I obviously it wasn't streamed and I didn't make it down to. It was the Varley, so I didn't make it down to the game. But I was listening to it on Sounds, BBC's first time listening. First of all, can I just say, side note, how people listen to a game for 90 minutes, I don't know. It was driving me mad. Like I needed to see it, and then eventually, we seen it. Spoke to a few people, some of the fans, some of the players. I think the theme was. Well, I think because my reaction was, "Hey, Oldham, we've just turned over Wickham." Yeah. So we turned over Wickham, and we've done that with Oldham, like 1-1. Like, how's all that happened? And they could have obviously sealed it with the penalty or whatever. But I think the performance yesterday was better than the performance, because you can watch the full 90 minutes on iFollow after. So I did the extended highlights, not the full 90 of the FA Cup. And the performance that I saw yesterday was a better performance than the one that was on Saturday. I think Saturday, what you got to take into consideration is the travelling and they've been travelling up and down the country doing a few things, and sometimes you're going to have flat games, and they were just flat. Was there an element of kind of underestimating Oldham, possibly? But then for Oldham, this was their game of the season. They're not going to come to a stadium like Portman Road, for God knows how long. So this is their ultimate game of the season, and they got a result. But we all know how we'll do a Tuesday night in the white kit under the lights. So at least 4 goals incoming. But
that said, Mike, 2 games against league top position. We've got one goal and 0 wins. Not a great stat line, is it?
Last night was another ball draw. Just 1 second. I've had Cruncher messaging me about 5 times on WhatsApp. He wants me to blow him a kiss. Let me just get this over and done with. There we are. That's how you know what I mean? Man love and all that, bromance and all that. But anyway,
put your £5 comments in now. I
should have charged him. I should have charged him £5 for that, shouldn't I? Really? But no, honestly, yeah. But last night wasn't pretty either. It wasn't pretty at all. Look, I spoke briefly to Cruncher about it this morning, and it was like, he saw it differently being at the game, and I guess you probably do sometimes see it differently at a game, and you probably do on iFollow. The thing is, iFollow, you can just sort of games when there's been games when I've been really entertained, I can have a really entertaining 0-0, but that wasn't an entertaining 0-0. That was like, Jesus Christ. A fan sort of last night came on the show and a few comments on Twitter and that sort of giving Piggott a hard time. Well, no disrespect, but the boy's not match fit, is he? He's not. That was his first start for a long time, since Gillingham, I think. We can't give up. Look, he comes with a good record of goals from last season to us, and Paul Cook has even come out and said, didn't he, at that fans forum event that, you know, he's apologised to him for not giving enough game time, and I think Paul Cook's got that bang on. I think he needed to apologise to him. I think you know, both them games. I mean, me and Martin we were having a bit of a debate on WhatsApp after the Oldham game, yes. Weren't we? And you were like, I was like, well, let's not look. It ain't Cook, but then yesterday there was crying out for two strikers because the system wasn't working. And that brings me on to the formation issue. What is the point of having formations in football if we're not going to use them to our advantage? And to you know, I'm getting fed up of people saying, oh, it's his way, it's his tactics, it's what Paul Cook's never going to change. Well, then that's going to be a downfall, mate, because
this is a man that had nothing to complain about, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I had nothing to complain about.
He was complaining.
That's what I said. That's why I said, what, Mike, not complain.
I'm talking about from a coach's point of view. You know, from a coach, the whole idea as a manager or a coach is in-game management. And I just, you know, we can't complain too much because we're on an average of 2 points a game at the moment from the last 10 games. So that's consistent, isn't it? As much as I've not been happy with the Plymouth result and all that, that's consistent points. Let's be honest. But you know, this, you know, what is the point of having formations in football if we're not going to use them?
No, I get your point. Absolutely get your point. As Ryan just said, you're right. He needs a plan B. Lee Brown, I'm there if he gets tickets. As he messaged me tonight, I think it's about Charlton. Ben Moore, I've said Fraser in the 8 position and he's done well. I'd like to see Morsey alongside him. He can easily play a 3-5-2 or any formation. We're adaptable with the squad. And that's the thing. The squad is adaptable, maybe the manager less so. But Kally, on Joe Pigott, obviously that's a player that split the fan base last night. Some are writing him off after the 90, and some are springing to his defence. How did you see? Well, A is 90, but B, which side of the defence are you sort of sitting on currently?
I was surprised, to be honest, because Mike. I won't say this often, so someone can clip it up, but Mike was right that he is a bit, you know, whether it's rustiness or whatever. And I think not just his last start, but his last appearance was Gillingham, right? I don't think he's made an appearance since then. I could be wrong. But so there is an element of rustiness. But I thought he looked all right. I thought when he had the ball, his hold-up play was okay. He got a few shots off as well, particularly as the game was going on. He's a different option to Bon. And the thing is, this game and the Saturday game, like the flat performance on Saturday and yesterday, where we just couldn't find a breakthrough. I'm glad it happened in cup competitions, and there's still cup competitions that we're still actually in. Like the FA Cup, we're not out of the FA Cup. No. Right? We still can rectify that, and we've won the group of the Papa Johns. There'll be a parade for Paul Cook. If this was Norwich, it would be on our honours list now. We know that, right? Honours list right up there, right? All 1,500 Norwich fans would turn out, right? But it's one of those where, it's rustiness, but what were you expecting? Like Kenlock coming, I had a chat, I think it was with Colin, and we was chatting about Kenlock yesterday. And I says, okay, he did okay. I thought it was a bit harsh of him to get hooked at half time, right?
Yeah, I did.
Again, he's another player that hasn't had a lot of time. By Cook's own admission, he's someone that's had his head down in training and just got on with it, no complaints or whatever. So I thought it was a bit hard to hook him off at half time, but maybe he was just looking to see what Clements is about as well, which is fine. But the same rustiness that Kenlock had, you know, you could argue Pigott was obviously a bit sharper, but he was a bit rusty as well. But let's not remember. I remember after the Newport game, everyone was writing off Sonny Aluko, right? And this guy's an absolute baller. He had a few more chances. You know, you get a bit match sharp, a bit match fit. I think Luke Heim said it, and he hit the nail on the head on the commentary where he goes, you know, these players need to get like 2, 3, 4 games going before they're actually underway. And that's what I think. I think if Pigott had played on the FA Cup, if he'd have played 30 minutes or started or played 60 or whatever it was, and then he'd done today, he'd have had a goal, right? And I did feel for him. It's just so unfortunate that he missed the penalty.
Wow. Kenlock was ill at half-time, apparently, Kally. So the chat is saying in quite substantial volume. So I imagine that's been released somewhere. So that's going to be why he was taken off. On Piggott, I do feel sorry for him because to write him off after one game, after last night particularly, is very tough. It was a scrappy game. Wasn't really many clear-cut chances created outside the first half an hour that I can certainly remember. And I just think if you look at Bond, a lot of his goals comes through interplay with Burns and other players, and you develop that over time. This is a team that hasn't played together since Gillingham, hasn't played together since West Ham. They've had 3 or 4 games, this cup team, if you like. You can't develop partnerships and patterns of play in that manner. So it's really tough to throw a player in and say, well, he didn't do anything. He's no good. We've got to look elsewhere. That said, did he give Paul Cook a headache for Saturday? Not at all. Has Paul Cook got to do more to get him going? Absolutely.
See, I'm just going to jump in. So, I'm a massive fan of Bon, right? I think he's a quality player. But that being said, his last 3 goals, it's been, and in fact, most of his goals has been individual brilliance. It's not been him taking on players.
Yeah.
And apart from, the goal at Pompey was a combination of luck and, his skill. The Cambridge game, he went off the boil. I thought even in the Wickham game, he had the chance. He scored a great goal. That was a good goal, right? Obviously, keep made it easy for him, but he had a few chances there that he didn't bury. The FA Cup, he missed that header on Saturday. His heading's off or whatever. So he's scoring at the moment. But if Bon goes 3 or 4 games without a goal, fortunately, this is an Ipswich team now that are not relying on one goal scorer. But if he goes 3 or 4 games without a goal, Piggott has to be the natural choice to come in. And I think if you give Piggott 3 or 4 games as well, he will score as many as Bon has got in the same kind of time frame. We've been blessed with two good strikers that whilst there is a similarity to them, they are 2 different types of strikers. You can launch a ball into the box and Piggott will attack it. Whereas Bon is a player that wants the ball at feet and he wants to move and do those kind of things. But we've got that now, and I just think let's not write off Piggott because we will need him. The same people criticising him will be singing his name, and also we're all human. How does it affect him? We don't know what what his personal life setup is. He obviously had his father passed away. We don't know how that affects him with the family. He might be the eldest. He might have to look after siblings, or he's there arranging things and all the rest of it. So your head ain't going to be right, and he might need a bit of time or whatever. There might be those kind of things. But one of the things we can do as fans is support him on that. We shouldn't be criticising a player after 90 minutes in a cup game. Because what, like I said, if he comes off the bench on Saturday, he scores a goal, then everyone's going to be like, Joe Piggott, greatest player in the world.
But that's the key, isn't it? We've got to get him off the bench a lot more, Mike. And there's been situations previously where you feel maybe they've kept Bon on because he's the red hot hand and we needed a goal or whatever. But you have to do more. And this is Paul Cook now. He has to play his part in getting Joe Piggott up and running, because if he's your insurance policy, well, that's a rusty insurance policy. And, should Bon have that hamstring issue he had at the start of the year where he missed that game that we were all, oh my God, Bon's not playing. After last night, you'd say, well, we're not in great shapes.
I'll say again, it comes down to game management, doesn't it? And player management. And again, like I said, Cook's apologised, but it's all very apologise and do something about it, Cook. You've got a good player there, got one hell of a striker that's scored a lot of goals in this league. So, look, it's hard because the boy's lost his dad, and that's not an easy thing to lose for any young man or young woman for that matter. Losing a parent, it's not without sort of going into detail, just some very old friends of mine have just lost their mum suddenly. So it's, and they're struggling, and they don't realise how important that a parent can be in a person's life. So look, that should be good enough reason for him not being quite with his sort of mental state. So fans that slated him yesterday need to back off and shut up. And secondly, like I said, he's not had game time. He's not had hardly any game time, training and game time. And Luke Hyam's right. We have a pre-season for a reason. All my youth teams that I've been involved with have, that pre-season is so important to get game time.
It is,
so that your players can get match fit. And if you're sat just doing training games and on the field, on the training field, that's nowhere near the kind of level that you need to be when you're playing actual 90 minutes in a competitive game.
And different intensity, isn't it?
Totally exactly. Different. The intensity is incredible. It's nearly double what it would be on a training.
Well, put it this way: I would not want to be training if they had the same intensity. I'd not want to be in that squad on the other side of Sam Morsey in training because he's coming right through here. So leave that for the pitch on the 90 minutes. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think like with Bon, obviously, on fire, but are we reliant? Are we becoming too reliant on Bon? Because, like I said, is it going to be? I think we are. I think we are being a bit reliant on him because,
Mike, when Bon was no, sorry, carry on.
No, this is not criticism. This is just, we are as a team. We're becoming reliant on him because it's, Cook's not willing to sort of rest him. If we say, like the Wickham game, we were winning that game. Okay, right, you've done well. Off you come, pick it off, on you go. Get 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, and see what you can do. Bond, you've done well. Great. Rest up. Can't keep playing every game. I know he hasn't played in the.
Is it possibly?
Week, but
is it? I'm thinking out loud. I'm sorry, Mike. Is it possibly a case that we've got too many mouths to feed in the sense of you can't. You've got 3 subs and you've got a number of attacking options, not just Pigott, and you're trying to keep a lot of people happy to get a lot of people game time. Because normally you haven't got as many options as we've got. We have got a substantial amount.
We've always had options. Like now, if Bond's not cutting it, you have Pigott. Before, if Nord wasn't cutting it, you had Aaron Drinan or Ollie Hawkins. You've had options. It's just what quality of option you had, right?
Well, this is it. Yeah, this is it. We'll get to a bit in a second, but Selina's obviously not missing out on international duty. Where does that leave Connor Chaplin starting on the bench? Now that's the level we're dealing with here. Like you're not talking of a huge drop off, and I just wonder maybe with 3 subs, you almost need that 5 subs that we had a year ago because you've got that many options. You could easily change 5 and not really notice the drop off in any quality. Talking to Papa John's last night, to move it on a little bit, obviously we progressed as group winners, so I believe that should give us either Sutton, Villa, under-21s, Walsall, Chelsea, under-21s, Swindon, Leyton Orient, or Cambridge at home. Which one do you fancy and why do you fancy them? Who are we going for?
Cambridge, isn't it? Got to be Cambridge, surely. I don't want none of the under-21 sides. I mean, they're just a waste. Yeah, just playing your own league.
No, I agree. I don't want an under-21 side.
No, we got to get Cambridge, isn't it? Another little local derby, that'd be quite good.
I was more happy.
What else have we got right now?
I was happy when I thought it was a chance to be away because I was looking at that. I was like, Warsaw's down the road, Forest Green's down the road. Give me one of these, but Sod's Law would have probably been Exeter, wouldn't it? And I'm not doing that again. I ain't really bothered. As long as it's not an under-21s team, I don't care who it is, and I'm confident we'll roll them over. Right? We'll go to Wembley.
I love it. I love that. I'm confident we'll roll them over. That's I can see it now. Leyton Orient with Aaron Drinan coming back. That's written in the headlines.
Aaron Drinan up against even if you're playing your second defence, but Aaron Drinan will just bounce off Burgess or bounce off Wolford. Come on, man! Like he's found his level at League Two, right? He's found his level.
Finally, somebody else who has some sense. Love it.
He's found his level. Whether he goes on to have a good career in the game, I don't know. But I think this is his level. He might get to League One if he's lucky. But he certainly wasn't good enough to be in a League One Ipswich side that are chasing the Championship. Not a chance. Tyree Simpson's tearing up in League Two as well, right? And he's an academy player breaking through. He's someone I'm more excited about than I ever was excited about Drinan.
Yeah. That's true. Mark Tuxford, not the biggest fan of Caden Jackson at all, but I thought he should have come on last night to replace Barry. If you're not going to use him, don't put him in your squad. EJ, it's a good point. I'm not as against Jackson's other people. I think he can still do a job for us. EJ in some capacity. EJ Norris. What if Bond goes and plays for his country in January and February?
EJ's comment there. That comes back to what I was just going to say to Mike earlier when Mike was talking about, are we relying too much on Bond for goals? Now, when we was getting those draws, yeah, absolutely. He was the main goal scorer.
Yeah.
Look who's scoring now. Everyone's scoring, right? Fridge has got 2 goals. You know, right? He's got 2 goals. Burns has got a few.
It's true.
You know, Chaplin's got some. We've got goals coming in abundance. And I read some. It's probably past that now, but I think we're like 7 or 8 goals shy of what our whole total goal score tally for last year.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And we're not even at Christmas, so
it's mad.
Goals are there. Goals are there.
Mark Tuxford, Aaron Drillant is a proven goal scorer, best striker we've had since Tamas Priskin. Josh Russell, we're screwed.
What is Mark smoking, and where do I get some?
Josh, that's why I'm confident at the moment. Colin, not Colin. We'll mention Burgess just before we move on. How did you see his game yesterday? Was it a struggle? Did he do all right for you, Fisherman? You're twinkling your nose up. So what did you make of Burgess's game?
I'm going to do a Damien Delaney here, right? Because I don't think Burgess makes a good centre back. I thought he was brilliant playing left back.
Left back, yeah.
Genuinely did.
I wouldn't say brilliant. I wouldn't say brilliant. He looked better.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, but he went into a position that he hadn't been.
No, he's played left back before. He's played left back before.
He also played in the back 3 last year at Accrington and Stanley. So you're more wide as a centre half. So you've got similar responsibilities.
I would start Drilling on as a left back. I really would. I think
Drilling.
Don't bring him back.
Bloody talking about.
Bring him back.
Left back.
He's going to have Chambers in soon, wanting a fist bump.
I talked Chambers.
Last night.
Here he goes. He's winding up to that Sid joke. Go on, say it.
No,
that was a brilliant joke.
I'm not going to say it now. You ruined it. You ruined my mojo. No.
That was a brilliant joke. It was a great joke.
It's the first time I've seen it happen.
That's true.
Chambers actually passed to our team. That was amazing.
Mark
Burgess
was solid at left back in fairness, but looked a bit suspect last night at times up against Sears. Yeah, his pace did worry him.
It's the pace. Any player with pace, he'll get turned. The good thing about centre back pairing yesterday was both are ball playing centre backs. It kind of to a point like Wolfie definitely is. Burgess likes the ball at his feet. Well, no, Wolfie's this is what I've been told.
I was laughing at Tux's comment.
Tux is on the old sauce tonight.
Yeah,
I need some. Tux, send it my way. CV2 postcode, send it up.
I'm going straight off FIFA 22 after this and put
Kally,
left back.
Idris El Mizani signed a new 2-year deal. Give me, obviously, because first of all, what are your thoughts on his progression so far? And what do you feel are achievable targets in the next 2 years? Where does he need to be, and what's he need to do to add to his game?
I think it's fair to say he's exceeded the fans' expectation. I don't think when we started this season, I don't think we expected to see El Miz knocking on the door of the first team, right? Maybe in the under-23s, maybe a loan out because he was at Cambridge last year or whatever. And
do you think he surprised Paul Cook a little bit there? Because obviously,
I think so.
Was on the bench in pre-season, not Iddy. Do you think he surprised Cook as well?
Well, this is it. I only saw one pre-season game, which was a Cole U one, right? And Humphreys was there, and he looked a good player. He looked good, tidy. I'd seen the rest like on streams or whatever. And I thought, okay, this is the one that they're going to have here from the academy to kind of hopefully knock on.
Yeah.
El Miz for me, and certainly the times like under Lambert and before that when he was breaking in and under the 23s, he's always been kind of more of an attacking-minded player. So be it a 10, be it a wide player. And all of a sudden, I remember seeing him. It was a Sheffield game where he made his debut, wasn't it? Sheffield Wednesday. And I was sitting with the big man, Mr. Toto, and I was saying, what can we expect from him? No, we'll big him up, man. Like he's a good lad, right? And I want to drive his new car, but that's another situation. But he was talking about
What's he got? Hang on, what's he got?
No, something German.
Oh, fair enough. Anyway,
but he was saying like this guy in training is gritty. He goes, he's technical. He's on the ball, but he will hunt down that ball. He will get in players' faces. He's kind of like Morsey's apprentice, if you like. So, Morsey's 30. We'll get a good 3-4 years, hopefully, out of him. By the time it comes to Morsey handing over the skipper or he moves on or whatever, hopefully El Miz can learn more from Sam. And if he picks up 10% of what Sam does in his game, then we're laughing, right? I still can't believe we got Sam Morsey in our team anyway. Here comes the Toto show.
Here comes the Toto show from King Cal.
Well, big up Toto, man. Listen, he's coming.
I love him. I think he's a great defender.
But El Miz, I'm happy he's got a chance. I'm happy. I think he will progress. I think realistically, if in my heart, if I'm saying we're going to be in the Premier League in 5 years, that's what I'd like to. That's my heart, right? Yeah. I don't know where. I don't see him making that step to the Premier League. He'd probably be someone that a good Championship player. He could probably get there. But again, I'm basing it off seeing three or four games this year, and 3 or 4 games this year. In my opinion, his appearances this year have been better than all his appearances in Town shirt before. So I don't know. Maybe it's the way we've got proper coaches there now. We've got proper training set up. Maybe they're tapping into his potential. We talked at your fans forum the other week. Early on in the week, he talked about how what was his name? Gary Probert, the guy coming in, and part of that was about development plans for each of them. So this is without kind of a development plan or a tailored development plan, and he's doing this already. It will be interesting. I could be here in the season, and El Miz has made a move to a Premier League club before Flynn Downs has made the Premier League. That's another conversation.
Talking about development in 2 years' time, Mike. You would think, you've got Sam Morsey here at the moment. You've got Lee Evans here at the moment. You've got Fraser, who played well in the 8 on Tuesday night here at the moment. You've got Raheem Harper, my player of the year. He's got to back him. He's got to buck himself up for that to happen. Come on, Raheem. Come on, son. Don't let me down.
I did say £20 million player as well, so I was there with you.
High five, wrong takes.
I think Raheem will come good. I think we just. As an example,
he's got another 6 months.
We can't get any worse, can he? Let's be fair.
Oh, come on, Mike, behave.
Easy, fair.
Behave. Listen. Okay, let's put it into perspective here quickly, just about Raheem. Lee Evans was dog shit before Sam Morsey come in. That's fair assessment, right? Yeah. And maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. The first game against Morecambe, Lee Evans was okay. It's not the Lee Evans I'd certainly seen over the years, but he didn't look as mobile. Yeah, Morsey comes in, and it's like Lee Evans is Popeye. He's had his spinach and he's all over the pitch and everything, right? So imagine what a Raheem Harper and Sam Morsey partnership could be like. That would be interesting. That's something that I was expecting maybe the FA Cup or a cup game to get thrown in. Like, have a look at Raheem and Sam Morsey and see how they go from there. But obviously, Lee Evans and Sam Morsey, they played like 80 odd games or something together, so they know each other inside out as well. So it's an interesting thing. I think we're blessed. We are blessed because, who did we have last year? I was a big fan of Andre Dazelle, right? Still think he's a good player. His killer pass the other day, no look for the goal for Andre Gray. But no one was he wasn't getting around the pitch the way our midfielders get around now. No. And maybe that's down to Cook's tactics or something. I don't know.
Dazelle, Hughes, Emir Hughes.
Is he still contracted to us? Like, where's he gone?
You could stick down.
Has Tom Carroll just taken over?
Chelsea, you need to struggle.
Has Tom Carroll taken over the Hughes thing? Yeah.
Tom Carroll has found Emmy Hughes' hiding place.
One good game, like a debut against Newcastle, and then never to be seen again.
So, what's a realistic option for El Mizani in 2 years, Mike? With all those options, Harper being this player that you're saying can't get much worse, but you have got potential there with him. Is it to take someone like Harper's place in being the bench option in 18 months' time, or is it a starting position, or is it just too much at this club at the moment to really sort of determine either way?
Look, the fact that El Mizuni's come in, I'm not so sure he's a holding type of midfielder. He's a battler. He's 20, 21, something like that. Yep. I think if I'm honest, I think he's got probably he's on another 2-year deal. Yeah, look, I think he's a good little player. I do. I think there's something about him. I think that he's tenacious. He's
Do you agree
he's
with
a battler.
Tucks?
He's just got to sort out his tackling. He's not so great at tackling, is he? He gets himself in a little bit of 2 and 3s and sort of tackles with both 2 left feet rather than a right and a left foot, if you know what I mean. I think he's a good little player. I certainly rate him more than I do Harper. I haven't seen. Look,
get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Blasphemy. That's your parody you're talking about now.
I don't care what you boys say. Harper for me, right? There's a player in there.
Harper is going to make you.
We said that about Dobra, and I mean, look, his shot yesterday. If that had been England World Cup rugby final, that would have been a great conversion. You know, with respect, you know, I mean, these players. That annoys me because you got these players that are taking shots.
Do you agree with Tucks there?
His penalty was phenomenal.
Realistic option is he'll be out on loan, in all honesty. You think that's really what we're looking at here for Iddy? A loan deal?
No.
Over the next 18 months? Loan?
No. What's the point of signing him? What's the point of putting him on a 2-year contract for him to go out to another club? And look, he's already had he's had starts, and he's only going to get better. When you've got a player like Morsey, who is a quality midfielder. There's no getting. He's by far the best.
He's a proper captain in it for the first time.
Proper leader, proper captain. Lead by example on the pitch. No messing. No, just look, boys. Come on.
Was it the Fleetwood game at the 90th minute and the referee blew the whistle and just screamed in the player's face like, "Have that."
That was the Fleetwood game. Yeah,
that was fucking brilliant.
None of this fist pump and kiss the badge bullshit. It's like, come on, boys. We've done
Hold on,
well,
you mean you didn't stay behind for a Chambers fist pump?
Did I? Fuck.
He didn't go, did he, Kally? It's a game.
Shut up! I went to a lot of games with
I followed.
I'm not. Look, Anyway, we're not here to talk about Chambers. But look, I think we got to keep him in the squad. Let him have some game time. Let him come on as a sub because there's something about that he's improved a hell of a lot as a player this year. I think he has, and people, we might be wrong. He might end up sort of, but don't sign him on a 2-year deal and then stick him out on loan. That's just going to do damage to his.
I don't see that happening. Like, if you look at the beginning of the year, like our squad, the players that were or the kind of the academy products that were there knocking on the first team, you had Wolfenden, Elmis, Humphreys. What's his name's the Alfie? I've forgotten his name now. The other centre back, and then Dobra. Dobra's way off the first team. He's further away from the first team than someone like Elmis.
Sorry,
right.
I'm buying the Fisherman a sat nav for Christmas so he can find his way to Portman Road from the Cruncher.
Poor old Cruncher. Says the man who's WhatsApping me about 20 times. Please blow me a kiss.
Yeah, I'll be Armin. He's quality, right? He's and I'll probably say he's, in terms of the academy products, I know everyone was talking about Baggett, and Baggett is a good player, but
he is a good player.
Armin's the one that's going to make the step up before Baggett. Elmis is, I think it depends on where we are next season. If we're in the Championship, he'll probably go out on loan for 6 months, maybe half a season, and then a transfer. Because remember, this is a business. If you look at Ashton as a CEO, bought Webster off us for a couple of quid and sold him for 20 odd mil or whatever it was. In fact, I think he bought us for a fag packet and a pack of fags and a pork scratchings, and then he sold it for 20 million quid out of Webster. So like, you're making all that money. It's all about business. Inject the money back into the business, buy more players. If you're telling me Elmis at the moment,
yeah, absolutely.
What? If you can get 3 mil,
Elmis is worth double that.
Have you got 50 grand for
we pulled the pants down of QPR for that player, for that money, for that player.
Yeah, that's true. But there you go. See, that's the thing. We got Lee Bayliss. I think Elmis on the bench. Most of that was sparse appearances in starting 11. Simon Harris, Haladki, Holy, Penny, Harper, Norwood, Jackson, Elmis, Kenlock, Dobra, Clementson go on loan or leave in January. Take Harper out of that list. And from this minute, young man, Josh Russell would have one keeper in Simon. It won't happen. Go on, what?
Do you know one player add to that? And I'm going to be controversial here. I'd put Coulson on the don't return, and the reason being is because look, it's not his fault, and I get that, but it's just too injury prone.
He's our best left back. So who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah, but he's too injury prone. We can't be sitting there having a
No
player
disrespect,
sat there on a treatment room for 6 games, and play him only two times.
He had a nasty injury, the hip thing or whatever it was at Lincoln, or I think it was the Lincoln game. And now this one, I think, it's the same knee he's had an operation on before, so it's going to be sore. It's bad luck. It is bad luck. Look at KVY. On that same thing, do we put KVY out on January?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, two players. Look.
He is injury
are we serious about getting out of this league? And are we serious about getting established back into the championship? And are we serious about getting promotion? The reality is we are. So we have to make tough choices. Yeah, we have to make tough decisions and tough choices. With respects to KVY, he came in. It was a brilliant. He was a good player and an absolute pile of poo. Let's be honest. But now we've got quality players. Now we've got quality players. You've got to be ruthless. Now, look, I like Coulson. I think he's by far our best left back at the club. But the problem is he's too injury prone. So why have him back on loan if he's going to be injured all the time?
I get that.
We've got money, so we get rid of Jackson.
It's more than trying to get a player to integrate when all of a sudden Coulson is integrated in the squad. Like, this isn't. We've got to take the old Injury Town Football Club hat off, right? We've got proper sports science people, proper physios. Toto pulled his hamstring the first game of the season. I know Mark Tuxford's going to love this comment in Toto, but he come back from a hamstring pretty quick, right? Quicker than what we've seen previously. Like, we've got the right people, so I think Coulson will get nursed properly. Same with KVY. The only reason he's out now is because that same dislocated shoulder. I think it was he dropped on us. When was it? Was it Portsmouth game or something? One of the games he had last season under Cook, and he had that chance and he popped his shoulder, didn't he? He'll get. And the problem is, if you get rid of KVY, if you get rid of Coulson, you've got to bring some more people in.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
First of all, forget who's available. That's one aspect of it. Then you've got no, he's not. He's not. Get rid of.
Just ignore. Just ignore.
The thing is,
if JD gets injured, as an example, on your right back, JD gets injured, like he was ill, right? KVY hadn't travelled. He wasn't part of the squad. So if KVY is not there, then you've got Wolfenden coming at right back. That Plymouth game, our fullbacks were the reason we lost, right? People getting down the right and Penny switching off on the left back. You want players that play in those positions. Penny's a great wing back. He just can't defend to save his life. And actually, if you look, Edwards bails him out time and time again. Coulson does both. Coulson's probably not as attacking, but he does get forward. He's got a great cross. We all remember.
Doesn't know.
Oh, come on.
No. Look. I'm not.
Okay, so if Bond gets an injury, should we bin off Bond as well?
Yes,
there's a big difference. There's a big difference with Bond.
Send Bond to the fire.
Massive difference, right? Coulson came here. Coulson came here with a history of injuries. Okay, Coulson came here with a history of injuries. He is now again injured. He's we can't be sitting there. Like I said, we've got to be ruthless if we're going to get out of this league. And there's far too many. I still think there's players here that should. I can't believe Jackson's still here. I can't believe. Look, I wanted Norwood to stay, but I think now's the time he's got to go. Some of the antics he's done. He's got to go. Norwood's got to go. Jackson's got to go. Holy's got to go. Do you know what I mean? Kenlock's got to go. These players.
Can I just flip that conversation ever so slightly? Forget Norwood's off-field antics, right? Mm-hmm. Forget. Just let's look at his on-field antics. Injury prone. It's fair to say he's been injured quite a lot, right? He's had either hamstrings or whatever, calf issues, whatever. He's been injured, so we've bin him off. So where the best ability is availability, we hear all that. Why are we going to get rid of Jackson then? Jackson doesn't get injured. No. If Bond gets injured and Piggott gets injured and all these players get injured and we're binning them,
what are we paying for Jackson? 1 point what? Something
he's
million pounds?
He's getting crunchy skiffy in the summer.
I mean, no, with respect, right? Jackson's a great at running. Maybe he should go into the Olympics because that's about all.
No, but I think Jackson's been played. Listen, Jackson, when we signed him, was signed as a striker. right? He was a number 9. He was playing up for Aki number 9.
Oh, ignore him, Kally.
He's moved around.
Absolutely
He's moved right wing. He's moved right wing. He's moved left wing. He comes in. He does a job, right? I tell you what. You put Jackson up front as a number 9, like Norwood was given the chance last year. He would have scored more goals, guaranteed.
Okay, great points from both of you. I would say on Coulson, a lot of his injuries have been, contact in the game as opposed to soft tissue and things like that. They're a bit different in my book. A lot of Larsh's issues were a lot of soft hamstrings, groins, if I remember rightly, and they're injuries that you can always hopefully try and mitigate. Whereas like Coulson's injury at Wickham, that was him going full-blooded for the cause, for the badge, for the football club. I got no problem with that. I want more of players like that, putting it all out on the line and leaving nothing for granted. That was a 50-50 ball, and he made it a 90-10. And if it wasn't going to go to him, then yeah, so be it. But he didn't back out of it, and I like that about my left back, particularly after what we've seen at this football club over the last decades in the position. We got.
Hold on. You're saying that you weren't happy with Stephen Ward bombing down?
I ain't saying no names. I don't say no names, but the Golden Bomber, no.
Did you say Stephen Ward and bombing in the same sentence there, Kally?
He used to bomb forward. Do you not remember?
He's still running forward now from the last game. Do you know what I mean?
Is that Wilson? Rob Smith. Jackson doesn't do anything. The Cruncher, you rated Kenlock Mark Taxford. Jackson is woeful. He's not playing up top in the 2. That's why he should never come. That's why he should have come on last night to support Piggott, but that would involve a tactical change. Mark Taxford, Norwood and Jackson up top together are great, but Norwood is the better player. Lee Bayliss. Jackson won't get a start in league match again. No, he won't do. And I don't think neither will. No, I agree with you. We need to get rid of these players. And Ward was shite, says Lee Bayliss. Well, flipping it a little bit to Saturday, Oxford coming up. 6th placed Oxford against 9th placed Ipswich. 4 points separate us. If we win, we could go within a point of the playoffs. We're currently 4th in the form guide, Kally, which is great. We've only lost one of the last 6. That was to Plymouth. The issue is Oxford are top of that form guide, having won 5 and lost 1. That same one to Plymouth. So it's going to be a really tough game. Oxford obviously have been the playoff participants of the last couple of years. Made the final 1 year, but I think it was COVID year. It's going to be a tough game on Saturday. What are you expecting? What's your thoughts as we build up to it?
Yeah, I mean, they made the final. They done that. They didn't get promoted. They're still in League One. They're a League One team, right?
Top of the form guide, won 5 of the last 6.
Okay, let's pick up on that then. So the form guide, Plymouth were flying high in the form guide, and I know we lost to them, and we had a very makeshift team, right? Where you having Coulson right wing. And I still think I know it sounds a little bit, if we'd have started, kicking into gear 20 minutes sooner, or if we had 20 minutes extra of the game, we win that, right? We were knocking on the door. Management. Oi, you leave Cookie alone. I'm not having that, lad. Not having that. Because at the end of the day,
I'm just being straight. I'm just being honest.
That was a really good impression.
You like the little transition, yeah? But and then Wickham, undefeated at home. It's their fortress. They've got the fancy lights and shit, right? They can afford to play for the extra bulbs and all that kind of shit. And, you had David Wheeler wheeling away and then all the wheels fell off, right? And then we battered them. Simple, right? We turned up to play and we played them off their own part. That's as simple as that. And that's not by luck. We do that. When we turn up, we will do that. Oxford will come. I think Cookie said it in the summer, there'll be different. People will come here like it's their final or it's a big game. We've got to kind of take something off Ipswich. That's what people are going to be thinking. But I don't think they will. I think if you got, I gave you my team earlier. You play a team similar to that, right? And this isn't no Christmas tree Mike Brown one, or we haven't got.
You leave my Christmas tree formation alone. It's coming up for Christmas.
Mate, BA. Is that the actual live? That's the live table. Look at that.
That's the live table. Yeah.
So what are we? 4 points
off.
9th,
4 points. Win Saturday, obviously, go within 1 point of Oxford. That's 1 point outside the playoffs. Could be 2, obviously, depending on results. But you're cutting into that chasing figure, Mike. Obviously, someone who has criticised Cook the same way I have. I'm not going to shy away from that. Cutting into that figure come 5 p.m. Saturday. That table, if you're a point or 2 outside the playoffs, would look a whole lot better, right?
Yeah, it's if, isn't it? Always that case with Ipswich at the moment. It's
that's football, mate. Football's always about if.
No, because sometimes you can just sometimes you can just look at games and think, that's a very winnable game. And what's the name? The trouble is for Oxford, you don't know what Oxford you're going to get, do you? That's the trouble. They are a team of sort of, don't know, they've been there or thereabouts, and you don't know whether they're, like I said, I mean, they have lost one of their games, haven't they? So I mean,
they've lost 4, but of the last 6, they've only lost 1, which is the Plymouth, and they've won 5.
Yeah, but who's that been against?
All right, I'll tell you. Give me a second. In the power of the internet, we have beaten Morecambe 3-1, beaten Burton 3-1. Let's look at November. That was the FA Cup. So, okay, we've got to go further back. So, they've beaten Burton, beaten Morecambe, beaten Shrewsbury 2-0, lost to Plymouth, and beat Wednesday 2-1. So, it's League One, though. You say who's that against?
Yeah.
League One is
to be fair,
isn't it?
As soon as you said Morecambe, I was like, well, we drew to them shit.
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to say it, and I know people hate it, but it was waiting for that gel to set. The Bill cream sorted.
For fuck's sake.
Right? The Bill cream sorted. Look, Mike's had all the gel, right? But it's gelled now. We're settled. Crunch is spot on there though as well. Carl Robertson is a good manager. But Oxford have a settled squad. I know they have a lot of loanies in, but they generally try and bring the same sort of loan players in each year anyway. So like we criticise Cook for having a style of play, so do Oxford. Oxford have a certain style of play that's their DNA. There's not at this level. I hate to say it, but at this level, there isn't a lot of people switching in-game management and doing different formations. Maybe there isn't, Mike. Who are you seeing? Who are you seeing going from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-4-2 or a 2-4-4?
Yeah, he is right. Mike. But what he doesn't also tell you, Mike, is not many managers at this level have the options that Paul Cook's got.
No.
Well, that's a
in all fairness, that some of these managers do, when they're losing, bring on another striker and play the 4-4-2 straight away. And often get results because of it. But, look, at the end of the day it's down to Cook. Well,
let's look at your lineup now then, Mike. You've gone for a 4-2-3-1 because you're not silly and you know that's what Cook will play. You've got Walton, the Don, Enciala, Emerson, Burgess at left back, Morsey, Fraser and Evans, Selena, Burns and Bonds. You've shifted Selena to the left and brought in Fraser. Talk to me about that. What
is I thought Fraser was man of the match last night.
That's an
8. I thought Fraser was ticking last night. He was making everything happen,
But in the Lee Evans role.
So is Lee Evans wrong? He's up
last night. No, that's what Fraser was playing,
in that number 8 role. But I don't know. People saying is he a number 8? Is he a number 10? But I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it? But he's got to play in the middle. He's got to play there where he can make some difference, and make some, For me, he's just that playmaker that we need. And last night, I thought he made us tick, even in an average performance. He was man of the match for me last night, and I thought he was brilliant.
Do you think, Kally, that Ronnie's onto something here? Ronnie says, seem to struggle against these teams that play for a draw and part of the bus. A team that plays football and have a go may just play into our hands. And obviously, Oxford come in having won 5 of the last 6. They're going to be full of confidence, and they're not going to be thinking about, can we contend with it? Because they'll be thinking, can Ipswich contend with us? Do you think that's going to play into our hands? And actually, this tough November that people are talking about actually is good because, teams like Wickham who think they're Billy Big Bollocks, they're going to get, take the school.
As long as we can deal with the press, which we've showed game in, game out, that we can deal with teams pressing us, then we can pass teams off the pitch. We've got some players there with some real quick feet. There is anytime you see Sam Morsey on the field, he always wants the ball. Bit different. The difference between him and Dazelle, as an example, last year was Dazelle, wanted the ball, but Dazelle wouldn't travel past the halfway line. Morsey, Mike, shush. We're not going to go down Dazelle's route. I just gave an example, right? But Morsey, if you look at Selena's first goal in Wickham, Morsey picks it up in our half. We're just outside, and he runs, and then he squares it off to Selena, who hits it in. Second half, I remember there was another little run that Morsey's picked it up in our half, and he's ran down the touchline and then got a crossing or whatever. Mm-hmm. We weren't having that before. But I think we have got players that will pass the ball around. It is a case of when there's teams there that are gonna kind of park the bus. How do we deal with teams parking the bus? But ultimately, we just we seem to be, peppering their goal. This is what I said about the Plymouth game. So the Plymouth game, obviously, when they took the lead 2-1, they did sit very deep. Plymouth weren't really interested on then playing a lot of football. They were like, let's just defend.
Yeah,
but we were peppering their goal. We were at them. On another day, Bond scores, Edwards scores, Harper scores, or we get the penalty or whatever. There's differences there. So we will get there. And remember, it's 16 games now that we played. We've still got 30 games left. We're getting better. I think there's another level to this team. And I think when we get there, I don't think we've come out of gear 3 or 4, to be honest. When we start, and this is a 6-gear speed gearbox. This ain't no 5 gearbox, right? This is a 6-speed gearbox, right? With the sport mode, all the rest of it, right? We're in 3. If Cookie has to drop it down and drop it down to a 2 to just slow it down, he'll do that. But he cruises at a 3. We're sitting there at eco mode. We don't need to go into sport mode yet. But when we go into sport mode, we'll start having teams up, and that's where I think it will happen.
I think you're right about Plymouth in the sense of, that first goal was crucial, and then we conceded such a silly time and let them back into it, and then we can see the second goal, and then they were kind of content to say, well, you now beat us, now see if you can beat us and break us down, and that's something that we've never been able to do, any Ipswich Town team, regardless of budget. So that's still something we have to add to our toolbox. Kally, your lineup you've gone for is this one. You've gone for Walton, Donatian, Edmondson, Toto, Penny, Evans, Morsey, Selena, Edwards, Burns, and Bond. Selena in his number 10 role. Both of you have gone for Selena. Kally, you've gone for Selena in the 10 over Connor Chaplin. Obviously, that is an option. Were you ever thinking about Chaplin, or is it Selena's position to lose now?
Against Oxford, yes, Selena. If we're coming up against a more physical team, then yeah, probably Chaplin's your better option. But Selena's a game changer, and they're going to be pressing us. There's going to be so much space in between their midfield and their defense. If we got people like Sam and Lee Evans who can pick a pass, and they can pick out whether it's Selena or Edwards. And I know Edwards hasn't got a goal or assist yet, although Bond's goal against Wickham, if you look, even if the keeper hadn't got a hand to it, that would have been an assist. But Edwards drives at players, and he'll win you a free kick or he'll get you a ball somewhere, and he does pick a good pass. So we are kind of there where we can exploit those spaces. Yeah. Give it to Selena. Look at the Wickham game. Gives it to Selena. He has a shot. Okay, a little bit of a deflection, but it goes in, right? And that gets us back to level, 1-1. I know Mike had Fraser in it at number 10. I don't ever see him playing number 10 unless it's a cover thing. For some reason, Cook sees him as a wide left player or an 8 or a 6. The 10 role, I think he wants that pace there a little. Yep. Where there's a little loose ball. Like, look at the 4th goal at Wickham. And I know it doesn't necessarily about positioning there, but the personnel on the pitch, pinpoint pass from Harper, by the way, Mike. I just want to say that there. Pinpoint pass. Sorry. The 4th goal against Wickham. Yeah. It was a pinpoint accurate pass from Raheem Harper. Right. Perfect weight on it. He'd calculate
how many assists Donatian got? How many assists Donatian got?
And I'll go further. He even let Selena know that Stockdale was coming in. Exactly. So, not only did he make the pass, he used his mouth as well, I believe. I mean, I've not heard that reported anywhere, but I believe that's probably the case, knowing how good Harper is, don't you, Kally?
Absolutely. I mean, I could see him calculating. He was there. He picked up the ball. He was calculating, well, the pitch is this high, this many mil. The ball is this thick. There's that much dew on the pitch.
The grass is this long.
Right. Well, he bought the T20 cricket stuff. He's like, floodlights dew. I can play the ball. It will just go on from there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're on it. Yeah.
But like Selena nips in there. If that's Scott Fraser, does Scott Fraser then sprint away from that defender? Possibly. I don't know. But Scott Fraser's not a player I've seen that will. He's got a great pass. He's got really quick feet. He reminds me of Darren Ambrose. When we used to have him. Yeah, like Darren Ambrose, not the quickest player, but very quick with his feet. Got a great pass. Can shoot as well. But he's not someone that's actually going to drop his shoulder and take a player on. And I think that's where Scott Fraser is, which is why it's so bizarre for me to see him on the left wing. But Cook sees something we don't. So I know Cook's the manager. So I've got full faith in him.
Okay. We've got a question here. I'll ask you first, Kally. Simon Harris. Burns or Aluko is a major decision. Is that a major decision, do you feel? Or is it where's Burns' position to lose?
I'm a fan of Aluko. I think he's good. But Wes Burns is the starter for me. right? I think Aluko's a great option to have, but he's 32. I know he did. And he looked quality yesterday. The touches and everything like that. But again, like Chaplin, is if you want to play against the physical side, they're probably the better options. But Burns is a very physical player anyway. But I like the versatility of Wes Burns as well. So I think he's For me, it's Wes Burns' shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've both done your lineups, and you've both still got talent on the bench of Aluko, Piggott that we need to get going, Chaplin. Like this squad, Mike. It's probably what makes it so much more frustrating for fans like yourself. This squad is built. Somebody said it up in the chat. Everything about this squad is Premier League except on the field. It's a really good League One squad, and it's so many different permutations you could play Saturday, isn't there?
I think it's a good championship squad, and that's why I get frustrated so much because there is, like I said, there is championship quality all across. I'd say probably 70% of that team. Now, in reality, this is where I get frustrated with Cook. I don't think he's utilising it to the best of his ability. I mean, yesterday's game was a lot of sideways passing across the back, across the front of their back line, going nowhere fast. And then taking long shots from outside the box. Sometimes, like in Selena's case, it comes off. But when you got players like Luca and Raheem Harper, hitting Rose Ed with their shots, you got nowhere. Weren't enough quality crosses going in yesterday. There weren't enough sort of.
I think part of that is a bit of you're not underestimating them, but it's more the mentality of it. It's not a league game. It's not an FA Cup game. Cook said very openly at the first fans forum that this was the thing that he regarded the lowest priority. So it was like maybe they've got one eye on, I don't want to get injured on certain things, or and it was freezing as well. So maybe then I'm not trying to make excuses, but I think you're gonna have flat periods. You're gonna have flat periods. Unfortunately, the two flat games were cup games. We ain't lost any space or any points in the table, right? So we're still in our league position, and we ain't actually out of those two cups, even though they were both really bad performances.
Absolutely.
Right. How many fans went to the Oldham game?
About the same as Tuesday, about 8,000, I think, from memory.
Okay, so
7 something.
So where's? I mean, hold my hands up. I didn't go, but I have a genuine reason. I work Saturdays, and I have to be there at 4:30, so I simply just can't go to a Saturday game at the moment. But where's all these fans that were complaining about in the past? Oh, right, we need to take these cups seriously. Where's all the fans supporting them? Where's the other 10,000 that didn't bother going to the Oldham game because it was a cup game?
Matt said this on Saturday, and we've
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're complaining. They're complaining.
Yeah, but I think
that's years of apathy. That's years of the club not taking it as seriously as perhaps they should have done. And then the fans are now in sort of show me mode. Now for the second round, I think many people will expect a strong lineup, or they'll trust that Cookie's taking it more seriously than others maybe has, and you'll get more turn up. And
are we away at Barrow or home?
I think I don't actually. No, don't. I hope it's a home game.
Home. We still need to beat Oldham. We still need to beat Oldham first.
It's home. It's home. Yeah, it's home. We will. You're
spot on, because I think a lot of people would have expected the team that you saw yesterday to be playing the FA Cup game. I think a lot of people were expecting that, so they were
100%.
Like, do I want to go there?
That comment's great, actually. Last couple of games. I agree that Crunch, but the previous comment on there regarding fans, go back to.
Who was it from?
I don't know.
Regarding
Mike Brown chatting waffle.
Yeah, the last couple of games have been quiet. Actually, yeah, that has. You listen on iFollow, very quiet.
But there's a
button. It's called the volume. You want to try turning it fucking up?
No, but listen.
Yeah, but they were quiet. They were quiet.
Yeah, Mike,
they were quiet.
That's I'm going to say something now. It's Sleepy Suffolk, mate. I'm sorry, but apart from a section in the Sir Bobby Robson lower,
everyone. The one you sit in is that the one?
That's the one that makes noise. We make fucking noise. Right.
I thought that'd be the case.
The football is one part of it. Meeting your mates at football is another part of it. But the third, and final part of it is coming out of that ground where you can hardly talk. because you've been singing your head off, you've been shouting.
And you know what, Mike?
That is part of it.
Listen, Mike. Every away game I've been to, I think I've been to every away game this season anyway. Every away game, sorry, apart from Cambridge, has been that way. Like I've lost my voice because everyone's together.
Yeah.
See, in the Portman Road, West Stand, you get told off if you bloody jeer or cheer or something, right? Cobble, the best thing they're going to do, sorry, Martin, is put a fucking great big hole through it and rebuild it at some point. and then the Sir Alpha stand is no great. Even sections in the North Stand. Even sections in the North Stand, and Martin said this before, people just go to the North Stand to be in the North Stand. Like, no, you need to be singing. Listen, I sing. I'm singing there all the time. I'm singing all the time. I'm singing all the time, right? Everyone hears it. It's the guy with the Black Country accent saying, "Come on, Ipswich, me babbies." All right.
I saw at Palace was a guy with a megaphone. That's what we need in the North Stand. Guy with a megaphone, so you all can sing the same song. But anyway, we've done an hour and 10 minutes. So let's now move on to score predictions as we round up the show. What do we think the score is going to be this Saturday? Don't forget, we're back live 8:30. Myself, Matt, and Rich. Cookies press conference. We'll look into it. We'll bring you the quotes from it, and we'll discuss what we think he truly means with what he says, or what we think he says. So score prediction. I'll come to you first, Kally, because you look more assured of what you're going to say than Mike does.
Definitely a win. I'm teeing between a 3-0 and a 3-1. Let's go. Let's be positive. 3-0. We'll keep a clean sheet.
Right.
I think Bond will actually score a decent goal as well. That sounds bad, like I'm criticizing him, but not. Yeah, it'll be a decent goal, maybe even a header, right? I think Bond will get one. I think Selena with another one, and maybe Sam Morsey gets his first Ipswich goal.
Okay, fair point. We've got Mark Tuffer. Sat in the West Stand last night, and a few people jump when I quote the referee for bad decision. Says it all really how we all support club in different ways.
There you go. Exactly.
2-1 from Lloyd, 2-1 from Josh, 3-2 from Jordan, 2-1 from Andrew. Who was the bloke who's the walk-up dancer? I've not seen him in a while. I hope he's all right. Ben Moore, 2-1 Oxford. I'm not confident. Fucking hell, Ben. All right. All right, he popped all fucking balloons. 2-0 from Ronnie, 2-0 from the Goat, 4-1 from Roy. Cruncher's promoting his own cricket show. We'd love to see that. Take a look at his cricket show.
Crunch, what was the score today? Did he enjoy the game? Great leftover, wasn't it?
I think he loved it. 2-0 from Lee. Mike, what's your score going to be, my man?
Be positive.
God, Joe, I'm struggling with this one. I think it's going to... Look, I reckon we're going to be 0-0 at half-time. I reckon we'll probably, hopefully get 2-0 win. That's what I'm hoping. I think maybe 2-0. 2-0 Town. 0-0 at half-time, 2-0 Town. Never know.
Well, you've both gone for wins. Let's see what Saturday brings. We're back, obviously, as I say, Friday at 8:30. Then the matchday ticket is live from Portman Road. So do join us if you can't be there. If you can be there, come and join us. But for tonight, that is the King, Kally Bisler, the Rakeem Harper Fan Appreciation Society chairman. I must be his secretary, to be fair. That is the Fisherman, Mike Brown. I am the Gov. This has been Talking Town. You have been wonderful. Subscribe, support us on Ko-Fi, and join us Friday at 8:30. With love, with care. See you later.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding